Hello, boys. There's been a lot of talk lately about the primary travel mechanic in Unreal Tournament 4. Because I guess some people don't like dodge running, either due to the button mashiness of it, because you're constantly double tapping a key to dodge, or they don't like the fact that it's fast, slow. They want something more fluid, like strafe jumping from Quake, or even like a sprinting mechanic has been proposed, which I guess I'll talk about all three of the options, how they relate to Unreal and the games that they're from. So I guess, I could start with dodging. Everybody knows you double tap a key, you dodge, and while you dodge, you're floating faster through the air than you would on the ground. So it makes sense that if you keep doing that, you're going to get around faster than if you were just running flat. So that's where that came about. Of course it started as a combat mechanic in Unreal 1 to avoid getting hit, and I think that's where a lot of the magic of dodging comes through, is that I could be fighting a guy here, dodging wisely, try to keep myself alive, and let's say I start losing and I want to start running away, I can keep that same mechanic going, just keep dodging, and I can run away at full speed. So you can make yourself hard to be hit while getting away at full speed, and that's really, I think that's where Unreal Tournament kind of has an advantage over Quake, in that the combat has a lot more depth to it. Because in Quake, if we're this close to each other and this is like a room instead of just an open area, so I'm gonna take it over here, someone's probably gonna die. There's no escaping. It's really hard to escape because you need to build momentum to get away, whereas I'm really free. I have a lot of just free movement on the ground and through the air, and I can just kind of pick where I'm going at all times, and I can get a shot of momentum this way or that way without having to build it up in either direction. It just comes and goes. So, but back to it as a travel mechanic. I think a huge part of it comes down to map design, really. Because this is Sentinel. This is probably one of my favorite deathmatch maps in the game. It's an alright dual map. It does have its struggles. It's rather imbalanced because the shock rifle is right there. But if we look at it just for the scaling, I think it's great. The scale is great. It just feels good to be in this map with this movement, and that's why this is a fun map. And that kind of shows that the map in question has a big effect on the movement in question. So, and map knowledge is big too. If you're just sprinting, you don't need to know anything about the map. You can just run and run and run. You just go wherever you're going. But for example, just look at how you can tell I know where I'm going on this map because my movement kind of reflects that, and the movement in the game allows me to reflect that. And that's really fast and efficient. It's noisy, but it's fast and efficient. So if I did want to make less noise, I would sacrifice some speed and stay on foot. And that's probably another thing I see wrong with sprinting, is that if I'm on foot and I start, obviously I think if the sprint kicks in, you're going to need to make a little more noise just for the balance factor. But let's say you're a new player and the sprint kicks in and you don't even realize it. It just kicks in because you're a new player and this is how you think you're supposed to move. The sprint kicks in, all of a sudden you're making all kinds of noise whether you like it or not, and the only way to stop it would be to dodge or jump or whatever happens to reset the auto sprint. I personally do not agree with that. Another problem I see with the sprint is that, let's say I'm running, the sprint's active, someone shoots a rocket, I dodge it. Now I'm over here, and if I want to get away, I either have to keep dodging or I have to walk, and hopefully that sprint kicks in. That's a big problem. I should not be punished for dodging, because then my speed resets, and now I have to keep dodging. It goes back. Now I have to do that button mashing that everybody's complaining about, or I die. So I definitely do not think dodging is button mashy, like my personal tastes. I don't think any other veteran UT player would say that either, just because they're used to it. And just like anything, Quake Movement 2, it does not feel natural when you first do it. You rotate like that and turn, like, hold towards that direction to gain speed. That was a bug to begin with. That's why it doesn't feel natural whatsoever. But everybody's accepted it, and it's the standard in a lot of games at this point. No matter how strange it feels and how much sense it does not make, it's become the standard. So I don't see the point in changing the way we get around in UT after 15 years of it being dodge, 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 dodge. I like the fact that dodging too is less predictable. I mean, I'm fast and I'm slow, I'm fast and I'm slow. I can throw people off with it if I know how to use it right. And there's a lot of mastery involved, just as there is with strafe jumping. I think dodging correctly, not just to get around, but to keep yourself alive, has a lot more to it than strafe jumping does. Alright, this is Quake. I decided I'd load that up just to show a few things. I want to load up the regular Campgrounds version. But also, I'm using a different recording software here because MSI Afterburner would not work with Quick Live. And my frame rate is, it says 100 something, but it still feels really choppy compared to what it usually feels like. So bear with me, but I just wanted to show some things. The way strafe jumping or bunny hopping works is that, I mean, you have to go in a straight line unless you're playing CPM or the original Quake. But you can clearly see, like, it favors very long stretches. And that, I mean, it changes all the maps in Unreal for most of them. Campground, I don't think Campgrounds works very well in UT. Maybe the scaled down versions are alright, but you can see, I mean, it would also change weapon balance because that's kind of far for a rocket launcher, even in this game. But the way it works, it's okay in Quake. But if we were to add bunny hopping like this to UT, it would change the game completely to where it would not be recognizable as Unreal Tournament. And I'll show a pretty good example of a room I was talking about earlier. I mean, if you have two people in here, either with a lightning gun or they have a rocket launcher, whatever they have, one of them's gonna die. Like, I can't, it's really hard because, I mean, like, if you're getting hit, if you're under any kind of damage, your movement is kind of pushed around in Quake, and that's kind of required to make bunny hopping feel right. So it's really hard to start a strafe jump line when you're fighting, and if you do, I'm going in a straight line, and they know exactly where I'm going to be next. Like, it's really easy to predict. So, I mean, the maps would have to change completely. The weapons would have to change completely. So I think adding anything like strafe jumping or bunny hopping in Unreal would just be silly, because, I mean, it would change the game as we know it. It would no longer be Unreal Tournament. It would just be Unreal something. It would be Quake Tournament.